Colombia or Costa Rica? Two of the most popular countries in Latin America for expats and retirees. Both tropical, both friendly, and both offering a lifestyle most people dream about. But they couldn't be more different. Colombia gives you diversity, bustling cities, mountain weather, Caribbean beaches, and one of the lowest costs of living in the region. Costa Rica gives you stability, no army, strong democracy, universal healthcare, and a pura vida lifestyle that feels like a permanent vacation. The question is, do you want affordable adventure or peaceful simplicity? Today, we're putting these two countries head to head across 10 categories: cost of living, safety, healthcare, taxes, and more, to see which one really offers the better life for expats in 2025. Hey guys, I'm Matt, the Americano, and I help you figure out how to actually make the move abroad. Whether it's visas, taxes, or just what dinner costs, I've got you covered. If you like these country comparisons, hit that subscribe button. I've got new ones coming out every week. Also, check the links in the description: the Passport, my free newsletter with expat strategies, visa tips, and cost of living data for countries like these; Brokor, my free newsletter for global real estate and business opportunities; and if you're in Colombia, come join Bogotá Nomads, our growing expat and local English-speaking community. All right, let's dive into Colombia versus Costa Rica, two tropical paradises that both promise the good life, but deliver it in completely different ways. Let's start with what usually brings people south: the cost of living. In Colombia, your money still stretches a long way. A comfortable life in a major city like Medellin or Bogotá runs about $1,000 to $1,500 a month. That includes rent, groceries, transportation, and going out. A one-bedroom apartment in a good neighborhood costs $400 to $800, and you can have a solid restaurant meal for $4 to $6. The Colombian peso has stayed fairly stable recently. Inflation's under control, and prices are consistent enough to plan around. You can live well here without feeling like you're constantly checking exchange rates. Now, Costa Rica is a different story. It's safe, peaceful, and beautiful, but it's also one of the most expensive countries in Latin America. A similar lifestyle costs between $1,500 and $2,000 a month for single people and $2,000 to $3,000 for couples, and that can easily go higher near the beach. Rent runs $700 to $1,200 for a modest apartment. Groceries are pricier, and eating out feels closer to US prices, $10 to $15 per meal, sometimes more. Electricity, imported goods, and cars are especially expensive because of high import taxes. Costa Rica's motto is pura vida, but when it comes to prices, it's more like pura expensive. Who wins this round? Colombia. You'll get a higher quality of life for less money, especially if you're earning in dollars or euros. Costa Rica offers peace and stability, but it comes with a price tag that feels more like Miami than Medellin. When you're living abroad, flight access matters. Whether it's visiting family, hosting friends, or just getting a quick change of scenery, Colombia has one of the best flight networks in Latin America. Bogotá's El Dorado International Airport connects to most major US cities, Miami in about 3.5 hours, New York in 6, and even direct routes to LA, Toronto, and Madrid. Medellin, Cartagena, and Cali all have their own international airports too, which means you can often fly direct without even going through Bogotá. It's convenient, and competition keeps prices reasonable year-round. Costa Rica also has excellent connectivity to North America, especially from the East Coast. San Jose and Liberia are both well served by US airlines, with Miami only 2.5 hours away and direct flights to Houston, Dallas, Atlanta, and New York. It's closer to the US than Colombia, but smaller, which means fewer routes overall and higher prices during tourist season. If you live near a popular beach town, you'll probably drive to San Jose to catch most international flights. Who wins this round? It's a tie. Costa Rica wins for proximity to the US, but Colombia wins for variety and affordability of flights. If you're traveling often, you'll save time in Costa Rica, but money in Colombia. When it comes to visas and residency, both Colombia and Costa Rica make it fairly easy to stay long-term, but the details matter. Colombia is one of the most flexible countries in Latin America for visas. If you work remotely, the digital nomad visa lets you stay up to 2 years with proof of just $1,000 to $1,100 a month in foreign income. Retirees can qualify for the M11 retirement visa with around $800 to $1,000 a month in pension income, and investors can get residency with a $90,000 real estate purchase. It's fast, affordable, and designed to attract digital workers and retirees alike. After 5 years, you can apply for permanent residency if you're under an M visa. Costa Rica has a long history of welcoming expats, but its residency options require more money and patience. The Pensionado visa needs proof of $1,000 a month in lifetime pension, and the Rentista visa requires $2,500 monthly income or a $60,000 bank deposit in a Costa Rican account. They've also introduced a digital Nomad visa, but it only lasts for 1 year with the option to renew for 1 additional year, and it does not grant permanent residency. Processing times are longer and paperwork can be slow. Costa Rica is famous for bureaucracy wrapped in sunshine. Who wins this round? Colombia. Both countries want expats, but Colombia's lower income requirements, quicker processing, and clearer long-term pathway make it easier to put down roots. Costa Rica makes you jump through more hoops, and they'll probably charge you a processing fee for each one. Taxes aren't the most exciting part of moving abroad, but they can make or break whether a country really works for you long-term. In Colombia, things are pretty straightforward. If you spend more than 183 days in the country during a year, you become a tax resident and owe tax on your worldwide income. That sounds intimidating, but it's not as bad as it sounds. Pensions are exempt up to about $12,000 a month. U.S. Social Security isn't taxed, and foreign income can often be reduced or excluded through tax treaties or proper structuring. It's a system designed for compliance, not confusion, but it does mean you'll want a local accountant who knows both Colombian and international tax rules. Costa Rica uses a territorial tax system, which is simpler for most expats. You're only taxed on money earned inside the country. That means income from abroad, like remote work, foreign pensions, or investment income, is generally not taxed. If your money comes from outside Costa Rica, you can live there tax-free, at least under current laws. The trade-off is that everyday costs are higher, so what you save on taxes might get eaten up by prices at the grocery store. Who wins this round? Costa Rica. Its territorial system is clean and easy, and it's one of the main reasons retirees and remote workers love it. Colombia's system is still fair, especially for retirees, but it comes with more paperwork and planning. So if you want simple, Costa Rica wins this one. Healthcare is one of those things that most people don't think about when they move abroad until they need it. And both Colombia and Costa Rica have strong systems, just built on very different models. Colombia consistently ranks among the top healthcare systems in Latin America. As a resident, you can join the EPS public health plan for around $30 a month, which covers most basic and emergency care. Many expats also choose private insurance, usually around $60 to $150 a month, to access faster appointments and English-speaking doctors. Cities like Medellin, Bogotá, and Bucaramanga have internationally accredited hospitals, and Colombia has become a medical tourism destination for everything from dental work to surgeries, often at a fraction of U.S. prices. The combination of affordability and quality makes it one of the strongest healthcare systems in the region. Costa Rica takes a different approach with its Caja Universal system, which provides public healthcare to all residents. Once you're a legal resident, you pay about 7 to 11% of your declared income, and that gives you access to treatment in the public system. Doctor's visits, prescriptions, surgeries, everything. It's comprehensive, but it can be slow. Long waits for appointments and procedures are common. That's why many expats also buy private insurance or pay out of pocket for private clinics, which are modern and affordable by U.S. standards. Private coverage typically costs around $100 to $150 a month. Who wins this round? That's a tie. Colombia wins for efficiency, cost, and modern infrastructure. Costa Rica wins for universality. Everyone's covered, no exceptions. If you want speed and quality, go with Colombia. If you want simplicity and the comfort of guaranteed care, Costa Rica's system delivers that peace of mind. Safety and stability are two of the biggest factors people consider when moving abroad, and these two countries are on very different ends of the spectrum. Colombia has changed dramatically over the last 2 decades. The days of cartel headlines are long gone, and cities like Medellin, Bogotá, and Cartagena are now safe, modern, and full of life. That said, petty theft is still the most common issue. Phones, wallets, or bags in crowded areas. But violent crime against foreigners is rare. Politically, Colombia has been stable for over 20 years with functioning institutions and consistent growth. It's not perfect, but it's reliable, and expats who use common sense generally feel comfortable day to day. Costa Rica, on the other hand, has built its entire international reputation around peace and stability. It's the only country in Latin America with no standing army, and it consistently ranks among the safest nations in the region. Violent crime is low, protests are rare, and the government is one of the most stable democracies in the Americas. Even in smaller towns or beach communities, most expats describe Costa Rica as peaceful, predictable and friendly. The main safety issues tend to be petty theft in tourist areas or the occasional home burglary, but serious incidents are uncommon. Who wins this round? Costa Rica. Colombia's progress is impressive, and it's genuinely safe for expats who are careful, but Costa Rica still sets the regional standard for peace and political stability. If your number one priority is safety and tranquility, it's hard to beat Costa Rica. Language can make or break your experience abroad, and while both countries speak Spanish, the experience of learning and communicating is pretty different. In Colombia, Spanish is spoken with one of the most neutral and clear accents in Latin America. It's what many language schools use to teach Spanish worldwide, because Colombians pronounce words fully, speak at a steady pace, and are incredibly patient with learners. If you're serious about becoming fluent, Colombia is one of the best places on earth to do it. You'll find some English in the big cities, especially among younger professionals, but outside of that, Spanish really is the key to daily life. Costa Rica's Spanish is also clear and friendly, but the difference here is how much English is spoken. Because of tourism, expats, and foreign investment, English is widely understood, especially in coastal areas like Tamarindo, Yaco, and Nosara, or in the capital, San Jose. You could easily live in Costa Rica for years without ever being fluent in Spanish, though learning it definitely helps you integrate better. The local Tico Spanish includes some slang and unique phrases, but overall, it's approachable and positive, just like the people. Who wins this round? Costa Rica. Colombia's Spanish is easier to learn and sounds beautiful, but Costa Rica makes daily life simpler for English speakers. If you want immersion and language growth, Colombia wins that. If you want convenience and a smoother adjustment, Costa Rica takes it. Both of these countries are famous for their warm climates, but they deliver that warmth in completely different ways. In Colombia, the weather doesn't depend on seasons, it depends on altitude. Because the country sits on the equator, temperatures stay consistent year-round. That means you can literally choose your ideal climate just by picking your city. One eternal spring, Medellin stays around 75 degrees Fahrenheit every day of the year. Prefer cooler sweater weather? Bogotá averages around 65 degrees with misty mornings and cool nights. If you want beaches and humidity, head to Cartagena or Santa Marta, where it's hot, sunny, and tropical all year long. In Colombia, you don't check the weather, you just move to the climate you like. Costa Rica, on the other hand, has a more traditional tropical climate, hot and humid with clear, wet, and dry seasons. The dry season runs from December to April, and it's gorgeous. Sunshine nearly every day. The wet season from May to November can bring daily afternoon rain, especially on the Pacific coast and in the rainforest regions. Temperatures stay warm across the country, usually between 75 to 90 degrees Fahrenheit, depending on altitude and proximity to the ocean. It's consistent and easy to plan around, but it's also humid, a constant reminder that yes, you live in the tropics. Who wins this round? We'll call it a tie. Colombia wins for variety, from cool mountain cities to warm Caribbean coasts. Costa Rica wins for simplicity. You always know what to expect, even if that includes a little rain. If you like seasons without surprises, Costa Rica's predictability is great. If you like options, Colombia gives you more of them. Culture and lifestyle are where Colombia and Costa Rica take two very different approaches to happiness. Colombia is alive with energy. It's social, expressive, and always moving. Music is everywhere. Salsa in Cali, vallenato on the coast, reggaeton in Medellin. People love to talk, dance, and gather. There's a friendliness here that makes it easy to connect. You'll find a modern urban lifestyle in big cities like Bogotá and Medellin, with co-working spaces, art scenes, and nightlife that lasts until sunrise. But head to smaller towns like Salento or Jardín, and life slows down without losing that warmth. Coffee, conversation, and community. Colombia's culture is about connection with people, with rhythm, and with life itself. Costa Rica is the opposite kind of beautiful. Life here is slow, simple, and deeply connected to nature. The national phrase pura vida, literally pure life, isn't just a slogan, it's a lifestyle. People work to live, not the other way around. Social life revolves around family, friends, and the outdoors. Surfing, hiking, or just sitting in the shade with good company. There's less nightlife and urban buzz, but more peace, more balance, and a focus on well-being that feels refreshing. It's one of the few countries in the world where happiness is actually part of the national identity. Who wins this round? Well, it depends on your personality. If you want energy, color, and endless social life, Colombia is your place. If you want calm, mindfulness, and a deep connection with nature, Costa Rica will feel like the home. They're both about joy. Colombia expresses it, Costa Rica lives it. Community can make or break the expat experience, and both countries have strong expat networks, but they attract very different types of people. Colombia's expat scene is still relatively new, but it's growing fast. Cities like Medellin, Bogotá, and Cartagena are now major hubs for digital nomads, entrepreneurs, and retirees who want affordable living without sacrificing comfort. You'll find co-working spaces full of remote workers, cafes that double as social clubs, and weekend meetups where people from all over the world connect. It still feels fresh, like you're part of something that's evolving. And here in Bogotá, I've started Bogotá Nomads, a community that's open to both expats and local English speakers, and it's growing quickly. Colombia's expat life feels integrated. You're part of local society, not living apart from it. Costa Rica, on the other hand, has one of the most established expat communities in Latin America. It's been a favorite for Americans, Canadians, and Europeans for decades, especially retirees and families. Regions like the Central Valley, Tamarindo, and Arenal are filled with long-term expat enclaves, complete with social clubs, international schools, and Facebook groups for nearly every interest. It's easy to make friends quickly, but the expat population tends to be older and more settled. You'll find fewer nomads with laptops and more homeowners who came for good. Who wins this round? Costa Rica. Its expat network is larger, more organized, and deeply established. But Colombia deserves an honorable mention. It's the rising star. If you want something polished and ready, Costa Rica wins. If you want something growing and dynamic, Colombia is where the momentum is. All right, let's break it down. Colombia wins cost of living, visas and residency, healthcare for speed and quality, and climate variety. Costa Rica wins taxes, safety, English accessibility, and expat community. The ties are flights and distance, weather and lifestyle. So what's the takeaway? If you want affordability, diversity, and a high quality of life for less, Colombia is the better choice. You'll find great healthcare, a growing expat scene, and a culture that's alive, social, and full of energy. It's the better value, plain and simple. If you want peace, simplicity, and safety above all else, Costa Rica wins. It's more expensive, yes, but you're paying for the calm, the nature, and the pura vida mindset that really does define daily life there. Costa Rica is predictable in the best way possible. Stable government, friendly people, and no surprises. In the end, Colombia gives you the adventure, Costa Rica gives you the exhale. One feels like an opportunity, the other feels like retirement. It just depends on what stage of life you're in and what kind of happiness you're looking for. So which would you choose, Colombia or Costa Rica? Drop your answers in the comments. I read every one. If you found this video helpful, hit like, subscribe, and check the links below. The Passport, my free weekly newsletter for expats, nomads, and retirees, packed with visa updates, cost of living data, and insider insights. Brokor, my free newsletter featuring global real estate and business opportunities. Bogotá Nomads. If you're in Colombia, join our growing expat and English-speaking community. We're already hosting meetups and events. I'm Matt, the Americano, and I'll see you in the next showdown. Take care.